Boa noite a todos, pessoal. Sejam bem-vindos a mais uma sessão comentada do 17º Fantaspoa. Lembrando sempre que o Fantaspoa 2021 conta com o patrocínio da Lei Aldir Blanc, a Lei 14.017 de 2020. E especialmente nessa sessão comentada de hoje, para trazer esse filme, contamos com o apoio especial da Prana Filmes. Agradecemos muito a Prana Filmes, portanto, e por acaso, se alguém não nos segue nas redes sociais, fiquem à vontade para fazê-lo, para saber de novidades, sempre /Fantaspoa. E é um grande prazer nessa noite, a gente está aqui contando com a presença da Lexie, que vai estar falando para nós sobre um dos filmes que é um dos meus filmes do coração do Fantaspoa 2021, Danger, Danger. Lexie, I just told the Brazilian audience that for me, Danger, Danger is one of the films from 2021 Fantaspoa that lives very close to my heart. Thank you so much.
Yay, thank you. Thanks for having me.
And now Felipe will take on for the questions.
Perfect. Thanks, Felipe.
So, Lexie, how are you?
I am wonderful. How are you doing?
Very good, very good. I wanted to start, that you introduce yourself, because I know that you and Nick have a huge filmography in several areas, with shorts, feature films, as directors, screenwriters, editors, visual effects, set design.
Yes.
So how does it feel to do everything?
Oh my gosh, it feels wonderful. We love doing everything. So we're producers, we're directors, we finance our films, we do cinematography, we do the visual effects, the editing, the costuming, everything. We absolutely love doing it. And it's so much fun. We're kind of control freaks a little bit. So that's partly, a wonderful thing is if you do a lot of it, then you get to control all that and you get to have a lot of fun doing that. And it comes out exactly how you want it because it's what you did. So we started out doing it for short films because we didn't have any money. So we were like, okay, well, we got to do all these things. And then we started learning a lot of it and we ended up enjoying so much of it. So yeah, we have a lot of fun doing it.
I understand you guys because in Brazil, I made independent films too, but is not low budget films. It's no budget films.
No budget,
with no budget at all. Yeah, with my family, with my grandma,
yes.
And I started with VHS. I don't know you guys. How did you start?
Nick started when he was really young, super, super young. So he did it via VHS and Super 8, and he was editing on these, he had this whole contraption set up in his house, and he had friends as his actors. And oh my gosh, he has so many stories. I started later. I just never thought I could do filmmaking.
Already in digital times?
What did you say?
You started already in digital times?
Yes, I started right in the transition from tape to digital. So I came in at a really good point where everyone didn't know how to do any of it. So they were all learning. So that was back in about 2007, I think, around there. So I came in during that. And that's when Nick and I met, was at that point when everything. So we met in post-production. We were both he was doing a lot of, editing and stuff. And I was the producer. And then we were like, we love each other. So then we started directing together. So It was amazing. But yeah, I came in during that time. But he's been editing and doing movies his whole life. So.
And you both love movies when you met?
Yes, we love them. I mean, specifically, obviously, the movies from the 80s. Huge fans of anything Spielbergian, Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, Indiana Jones is our mantra. If we're having a bad day, we put on Indiana Jones. It just makes us feel better. Even right now, he's playing it, or I played Indiana Jones in the background because it just. When I was a kid watching those movies, it was adventure and excitement, and that's all. And then we were like, how do we make that? That's what we want to make, right? That would fulfill our lives. So we did. We tried.
to tell you the truth, I miss those times.
Me
sometimes.
too. Me too. We talk about getting a phone on the wall all the time. So, filmmaking is kind of that way too, where you get to live in those worlds again, and get to be and play in those worlds, which is a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. So you already named him, and it seems to me a very challenging idea to emulate Steven Spielberg's cinema on low budget, So how did the idea of Danger come about?
We were walking around Vasquez, which ended up being where a lot of the movie takes place. That's where most of the desert scenes take place in Africa, and that's about 20 minutes from our house. They shot amazing films there. Yeah, so they shot the Flintstones there. They shot Star Trek, so many amazing locations and films have been shot there. And we were walking around just hiking, the two of us, and we're like, oh my gosh, we were trying to figure out what our next movie was going to be. And we had a couple of options because, Nick writes and he has fun writing all these fun scripts. And we had one, and he's like, man, if only I had an Indiana Jones movie. And we're like, wait, you have an Indiana Jones movie? So we were like, okay. So we kind of rewrote the current script we had. And we actually, put it in the 80s, and we're like, this is amazing. So that's kind of how Danger came about. Was we wanted to write an Indiana Jones movie and have a lot of fun doing that. So, and a lot of our influences obviously came through in that. So, yeah, obviously it's low budget, very. So anyone that's seen it, please know we're not claiming to be Spielberg.
No, but this is the amazing part of it. The low budget part of it is the most amazing part. We will come back. We will come back to this subject. But I need to ask you if the title is a tribute to the metal band from the 80s.
No, actually not.
But there is a.
We Googled Danger and saw the metal band from the 80s, and we're like, this fits even better. We just thought the idea of having like a crate that said Danger on it, and then having the movie be called Danger, we were just like, it sounds like so much fun. I don't know. I'd want to click that on iTunes. So that's why we named it that.
You said that location is close to your home? Yes.
We live in LA, and it's about 20 minutes away from us. And then the spaceship location is about 20 minutes as well. So that was really great. Okay. LA commuting is horrible, so we were so happy, and the cast was happy too. A lot of the cast had been there before, so it was really cool to see them come into this iconic location and because LA tends to be like this parking lot really, and lots of cars and stuff, and then you get out to this part of LA that has these beautiful mountains, and you're surrounded by all this nature, and most people just don't ever see it. So,
So about Jonathan Danger, it's an incredible name for a new hero, and to me, is a good thing that you have left possibilities to tell new adventures. Then take place or before or after this film, and so I believe that you are planning to return into the character, or not?
We would love to. Oh my gosh, we would love to. And we'd probably call it Danger. We would love to get back to him. We actually have some amazing ideas for time loops and how time travel might work in the second one. So yeah, we would absolutely love it.
Dangerous, danger.
Yeah. Dangerous, danger.
Yeah. And did you consider to make, for example, I don't know, maybe a serial for the internet, for example, or?
We would love to. I love series, and oh my gosh. So that is something that even with our next projects, that's kind of what we're considering, because the idea of just getting engrossed in something, even if it's smaller running time, I think would be a lot of fun. I think it would be really cool just to spend more time with characters.
Lots of possibilities.
Yes, lots. And that's what
action figures. Action figures.
Yes, action figures.
Board games. Video games.
I love it. I would love that. That'd be amazing.
Okay, I want to ask you about, you don't need to tell us about the budget of the film, but looks reduced, you know, but there are some impressive details in the picture. Like, for example, the set, the in the ending of the ship, you know.
Yes.
Probably the most expensive set of the whole film.
Funny enough, we found a lot of that set. It was a lot of it was already done, and it's just this spaceship that lives in Burbank, which is amazing. We stumbled upon it, and we added a lot of our accents to it, but a lot of that had been already done, which was we're like, what? How is no one known about this? This is amazing. So that was, you know, and then we brought in a lot of stuff, like a lot of the consoles, or a lot of, obviously the skeleton was not there in the spaceship or spacesuit. But even the spacesuit was really cool. We had access to this like prop company, and they had the spacesuits from, I believe it was Ad Astra. So that was pretty cool. We got to use like those, and we were like, "This is amazing." Oh no, I think it was like First Man. That's what it was. Okay. And it was really cool to have those in there, and I don't know, they felt so authentic. But yeah, the spaceship was really cool. I felt the first time we walked on it, I was like, I feel like I'm on Star Wars. This is incredible.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
It's incredible.
And this is crazy, right? Because these blockbusters construct these huge sets, spend a lot of money, just give it to independent filmmakers later. You know, why not?
I encourage everyone. I mean, location scout around what's around you, because you'll be surprised like what people just leave because they're like, oh, we're done. Okay. I mean, our first film was a Western, and we shot in Old Tucson, which is this like entire Western town, and we had the full reign of the whole place. You might have to go there on off hours, or you know, things like that. So yeah, honestly, filmmakers should definitely look around. And it's nice to be in LA. It really is for that reason. But gosh, we've been making films our entire lives, so just, you know, little things here and there, and finding what we could.
So still about the budget, there are some filmmakers that are probably watching us or will watch us later. Yeah. Some independent filmmakers from Brazil. So let's speak a little about how you can make a movie like Danger with a tiny budget, let's say. I can see some clever tactics to save money in the picture. For example, the masks that cover the soldier's face. Of course, you can use the same people. We got there's a scene with the sound of a helicopter too. Only the sound of the helicopter.
Yeah, which wasn't in the original. Our original rough of the edit wasn't there. We actually. So when we were shooting that scene, helicopters were flying above us, and we could not get good sound. Like, we were having issues with sound, and it was driving us crazy because these helicopters were scoping the area, and we're like, what is going on? And then, so we got back, and none of the helicopter actual sounds ended up in the audio, which was amazing. We were kind of shocked about that. But what it did was we kind of missed the helicopter sounds in the tent, and it was windy too, and we're like, well, this would make perfect sense to have a helicopter sound. But there is a lot of techniques in filmmaking you can just cheat, because the audience, first of all, knows a lot about, you know, they know what a helicopter looks like, so you can kind of cheat with that, hopefully.
No need to show.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. And then, I mean, a lot of the costumes we got off of like Amazon or Etsy, or our guns were actually Nerf guns painted by this guy who's really amazing at it in, I think, Germany. So like, you know, you can find a lot of really cool stuff out there. And it's just about, and then I aged most of the stuff. So I went out, like all the tents were brand new. From, gosh, I don't even know, like Target or something like that. And then I aged all of them with spray paint and mud. I was out there in our backyard just mudding it up, like trying to get it to look like it was, you know, from that era. So Yeah, we had a lot of fun doing all that.
This is another creative thing, because filming in the middle of the desert, you only need tents. You don't need to build sets,
Right.
So it's easier that way.
Yes, and also with the inside of the tent. That's why a lot of we have some bulk of the scenes inside the tents where we were like, okay, we know there's going to be lots of cars because the Vasquez is open to the public where we shot a lot of the desert scenes. So a lot of people could just walk up to our set. And so we were like, we're going to need to have a way where we can, film a lot of dialogue and a lot of stuff that is a lot cheaper. But yet, we wouldn't have to worry about people just walking by in modern attire. So we did a lot of scenes inside the tent just for that reason.
So let's talk about the sad side of the independent filmmaking, because during the film there's 2 or 3 moments that I almost can see, a big action scene. If you have millions of dollars, you probably will put a big action scene there, that I can almost visualize, that scene. But of course, it's not so easy. How did you work with these low budget limitations? And I specifically need to ask you if there is some scene or something that you have to cut because there's no way to film it.
Yeah.
Lots of it.
Yeah, I mean, and a lot of
it's sad, right?
Yeah, it's hard because you're like, oh, it's always your favorite scene too. But I remember on set, even Nick, he was like in the trailer and he's like, okay, we got to cut. We're not running. So our film shooting schedule was 12 days, which a lot of people say is pretty impossible for a film. Our first film was 10 days, so we thought 12 was a little better. We were like, yes. But there was quite a few scenes. The Jeep chase was supposed to be a lot longer. And we just... That's
one of the scenes that I visualized there.
Yeah. So
a bigger action scene.
2 Jeeps chasing after each other, and they were supposed to be shooting back and forth. But that was something we had to cut because we literally we're running out of time. We had it was actually on day 2, but because a lot of the talking scenes had taken a lot longer than what we thought, we had to cut it down. So that was one of the scenes that we had a lot more action involved. And action is one of the most expensive parts of filmmaking.
Of course. Yeah.
Sitting people in chairs talking to each other, a lot easier. That was definitely one that we had to, cut. Although one we added in was where the Russians come up on Jungle Jim's tent and then they chase them up the hill. And then it's like they hide behind the rock. That was supposed to be a really small scene. And then we found this beautiful vista our very last day. And we moved it all up there just to have them run up the hill together and then hide behind the rock. It was supposed to be this really small scene, like in a totally different area. And it wasn't going to be as cool. And then we found this wonderful area. So there is wonderful things that happen with independent filmmaking where you find magic and you find, these unexpected coincidences and cool things that happen, and it just makes it great. And you're like, that's my favorite part now.
Did you guys try to raise money, more money?
No, we did it, all of ourselves. So our first film, we financed ourselves, and then, and we had some help with like getting discounted rates and stuff, but then we did our second one ourselves, a little bit from the money from the first one too. But we just wanted to prove that we could do it again. So we were like, we got to do this. This will be fun.
And the raising money is the boring part of filmmaking.
It's hard. It's a hustle. It's constantly a hustle. We've been trying to get, we talk to a lot of financiers and stuff a lot. So, and it's constantly like balancing and hustling and trying to get in and then trying to answer everything they're asking, and then fulfilling that, but still trying to keep, what you like about it too. So, yeah.
I don't know how's the market. I don't know how's the market right now, but it's possible for you, for example, to show Danger now to producers or distributors and say, we made this with this money. We can do a lot more with more money. It's possible to do this?
Yes.
Or
Yeah, we do that a lot, actually. Yeah, we go, hey, we made this. Look at it. It looks awesome, right? Okay, don't you want to give us more money, please?
Yeah, because it's a great it's a great project to show around, right?
Yeah, and that was partly we for a long time we tried when we first got into like filmmaking. We were trying to just do short films to try to get features, and we're like, we really want to try to convince people like, hey, we can do this. So that's why we did these two movies too, is so that to show people that we're capable of doing this and we like them. So hopefully other people do. So.
Okay, and how was the selection of the actors? Because especially Jonathan Danger, the Benedict, right, is the guy. Benedict.
Yes,
yeah. He's a friend of yours, or
he was in our first movie. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the Western movie.
He's in our first one. Our first movie was an ensemble cast. You'll recognize him and Paul Hapamini, who was Jungle Jim, and Alexander Harris. He was Delano Davis. So we did bring back a couple of the actors that we had worked with. And Matt Boone, of course. He's my cousin. He's the guy that plays Hans, who gets his face blown off at the front of the movie. So he's been in a lot of our short films and feature films. But the cast selection, on our first film, we casted all new people. We had we hadn't done it before, so I casted our first film all by myself, and then Nick and I came through and we were like, these are the ones we like, and it's great. And then we built these relationships with these amazing people. So we were like, hey, let's have them do that role. That'll be fun. So
it's like your company. It's like your the art company.
Yeah.
It's like your cast.
Yeah, it is. And it was so nice because we were just like, oh, these are our people. We can bring them in. We know how they work. Because a lot of directing is like knowing how someone's going to react in a scene, or, how they're going to be. So we had a lot of fun with him, Benedict on West and the Ruthless. And so we were like, let's bring him back for Jonathan Danger. He had a trip planned even. So he had to cancel his trip so he could do the movie, which was amazing.
Wow.
And then we wanted Paul for Jungle Jim, and we weren't sure if he was going to do him because, Paul in our first movie was this villain. He was really aggressive and totally a villain. And this one, he's a lot more fun and sarcastic and kind of mean. But yeah, he's a very likable, fun character too. And then we casted, Angela was the last person we cast on the movie. She plays Jade in the film. And we actually had someone else for that role, and it just wasn't working out. We weren't lining up, and we casted Angela within a weekend. We emailed her on Friday for an audition. She sent one within an hour, and then the next day we had a call, and we hired her on Monday. Like, it was like, yeah, you're it. You're Jade. And then Great. Alex is Delano. We had worked with him before. And then Alexandra Keller, she plays Ella Fritz. She's amazing. Yeah. Oh. She's great. So we got her audition and was just like electric. So we were like, we got to have you on this. This is amazing. And then obviously Matt Boone as Hans. I have a thing of killing him in our films. So our first film, we whip him to death. And then our next film, he's the nicest person ever. So I think I'm just comfortable with being like, hey, can you lay dead? Is that okay? Just die. Okay, cool. Now we can move on. Let's go. So yeah, the cast was incredible. But with low budget too, you want to limit that and try to have it as like, condense the characters to be like the least amount of people you can have, with still having it be really, really interesting. So that's something that, definitely with low budget, it helps a lot.
Yeah, because people usually forget that you have to feed these actors too. So it's not so the budget keeps.
Yeah, it takes a lot of work. I mean, there were numerous times I was dumping trash after, a 12-hour day of filming. And then
damn
and you're
actors.
just tired. But it's got to get done, so you do it.
Yeah, damn actors need to eat.
Oh yeah, they definitely need to eat. I'd want
So
to eat. I needed to eat.
Yeah, I believe that Paul have just made a bigger movie called Monsters of Men, right?
Yes, he did, and I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard it's awesome. And they went out to Cambodia to film it. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It looks incredible. I'm like so excited.
He'll probably ask you more money to the sequel.
Oh, that's fine. Although
So,
gave him one of his first feature roles. So, and we're good friends too. So I think he would come back. He even said, "Okay, yeah, guys, I think I can do this." I'm like, "Okay, cool."
Yeah.
He's so nice. Oh my gosh, he's one of the nicest guys. It's great.
Looks like, and
all
he's
of our
funny
cast
too.
was just incredible.
Yeah.
Very, very kind, nice people, and I love that.
Everybody.
Yeah, they were great. And oh my gosh, the crew. They just put in on the Wednesday of our shoot. So we had filmed. I think you've seen the behind the scenes. The trailer broke down, and it was only I think in 98. It was hot. I got heat stroke the first day of us shooting because we were out in the desert. And then on the Wednesday, the trailer broke down and there's no AC. Oh my gosh. And everyone they just picked themselves up and just did it. I mean, they just worked so hard and it was amazing. And then they fixed the trailer. We got a better trailer. I was like, yes, danger strikes again. So it worked out great. But yeah, there's those things that happen.
Okay, so let's forget money. Let's talk about your influences and the references, because several references of the film is easier to discover if you watch the movies from the 80s. For example, Indiana Smith, of course, is the first name of Indiana Jones, and Jungle Jim is a comic strip hero, if I remember correctly.
Oh, we just thought it'd be a fun name.
But there was a Jungle Jim in the 30s. Yeah. But there's more references in the film that you can point.
Yes, I mean, down to even the music. Obviously, that's very John Williams-y kind of music we love.
The music is amazing. Yeah.
We found that was needle drop music that we found, and if you just hunt for it, you can find this amazing stuff at your disposal. It's incredible. And I remember the first time Nick laid down a track, to the opening actually, and it was like I was in the other room and I was like, "There's no way that's gonna work. Like, we can't get away with this. This would be amazing." And then I went and saw it. I was like, "Oh my God, the whole movie has to sound like that. That's amazing." So yeah, there's so many references to the 80s. I mean, down to even like when the Russians obviously were very stormtrooper-esque. I even called them stormtroopers on set because I just couldn't get it out of my head. I was like, oh my gosh, like they're totally stormtroopers. This is awesome. I have stormtroopers at my disposal and it's awesome. Like, it's great. Let's see. Oh gosh, so many. Oh, the opening, where he sits up. It's very Star Wars. There's like a scene, I think, even in the newest series where Finn sits up really fast in front of the desert, and then there's just there's so many. And then, like I said, so much of it is part of our souls that we don't even know that it's 80s because it's just like, we're just doing us. This is how we love things, The Goonies, that feeling, when they're in the spaceship, specifically like when the Goonies find the treasure, and the ship of One-Eyed Willie. So, in fact, even every day on set, I wore a different 80s t-shirt from our favorite movies. So we had each one of them every day. If you see pictures of me, you'll see each one of my shirts for every day of shoot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And you guys just created Jonathan Danger, and in an amazing coincidence, Indiana Jones 5 finally went into pre-production. So
it's our
a fun question.
We want to direct.
Yeah. Are you happy with Harrison Ford's return?
Spielberg, if you're watching this, I want to direct Indiana Jones. It'd be fun.
But are you happy with this, or do you think it's time for new heroes to arise?
Oh, I definitely think, I love seeing what people do with a lot of the iconic old characters, but I would love new heroes to come along. Oh my gosh. And that's one of the things is we were like, how has no one done more movies like this? We love these movies. We want more. Just give us more original stories. And I think that's what's so interesting about so much content happening now is there's so much out there and there's so many different adventures you get to go on adventures with too. So yeah, no, definitely more content. But then I like my old stuff too. I don't know about how they're adapting some of it. I'm like, oh, don't ruin it. Oh, but that also helps the new generation fall in love with it too.
Yeah, this is the great thing about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I will ask you a very difficult question now. Are you ready? Okay. About the 80s. I think that since the 80s, we've never stopped talking about the 80s,
Yes,
and paying homage to that era. Why do you think we are still in love with the 80s?
I think it has to do with a simpler time and a little bit. We didn't have cell phones. We didn't have. You didn't have a lot of
internet.
Media. Yeah, you didn't have any of that. You didn't have the internet. You didn't have. You had this. Where you go outside and you'd ride your bike to places. I don't know about anyone else's parents, but my parents were really chill. They were like, yeah, just be home later. So there's a sense of independence and you kind of discovered new things and adventures on your own too. So I think I do harken back to the 80s a lot. I'm like, oh, I want that. Now, don't get me wrong. The internet's amazing. You learn a lot of cool things. I'm literally talking to you, and we're in totally different, countries and continents. Like, that's incredible. So that's amazing. But I do miss that. I miss phones that were on the walls or on the tabletop. You weren't accessible all the time,
Yeah. But are you one of those fans that thinks that the movies of the 80s are better, the books are better, the comic books are better, the music are better, or you are okay with what we have now?
I like all of it. I think, there are some bad ones. And there are some great things that come out of every single era. Gosh, I love, the 50s a lot of times too. And there's some amazing things and then there's some terrible things. So I think every era has some great things and every era has those things that you're like, oh, why am I watching this?
Yeah.
Why? Yeah. Why do I put myself through this again?
Okay, my last question. I will read because I wrote a stupid long question and I need to read. There are a number of recent products with the same nostalgia for the 80s. Obviously, Stranger Things and Cobra Kai, for example.
Yes.
But also independent films like Turbo Kid. I don't know if you watch it.
Yeah. Yes.
Turbo Kid.
I've seen it. Yes, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's a great, right?
Yeah.
And last year, there's a movie called Max Cloud that is also very funny. So I imagine it's a great time for a film like Danger, but at the same time, there's a lot of competition out there. How did you see this discussion? Yeah.
There's tons of competition, which makes it great because as a content viewer all the time too, I'm so happy because it's like, oh, there's just, so much out there that you can consume and fall in love with and, get to have fun exploring. But also there's also, things that that's so cool. But yeah, I love Turbo Kid. That's amazing. And there's so many different things that, you know, we've come across that we're like, this is awesome. This is incredible.
And are you working in another project right now, or you are selling Danger?
So we're talking to distribution companies about Danger coming out. So we're really excited about that. That'd be amazing. And then also we're talking about our next project with a couple film financiers. And then in the meantime, because the pandemic hit and California closed down like crazy, we've been working on some short films. So we have 4 short films that could be coming out. One series of short films that are more horror based, and then one is definitely very similar to Danger in the fact that it has that very John Williams sound and it's set in space. So it's a lot of fun too. So we're excited about those films. But we just can't, like, we couldn't sit around and do nothing. So we just started, you know, trying to occupy ourselves with things that we love. So, oh, well, thank you. I see these comments popping in. Yay.
Yeah. So one last question. It's a fun question. If you guys have more money to Danger Part 2, and if you can choose a star from the 80s to put in the movie, it can be a faded star from the 80s. Who you choose?
Oh, we've been talking to Anthony Michael Hall. I don't know. Do you guys know who that is? He was in 16 Candles. Yeah.
Yeah. Of course.
Person. I totally want to work with that guy. He's incredible. Obviously, I don't know if I'd work with Harrison Ford. That'd be tough. Like, what if he's mean? I'd be like, no. I would love. That's a great question. That's amazing. Love to work with Mark Hamill. He'd be awesome.
Oh, Mark Hamill. Yeah.
Right?
Looks like Mark Hamill looks like the best person in the world.
Right? I think he could be a lot of fun. Oh, that's such a good question. I'm going to think of like 20 more people I'd love to work with.
No, you can talk.
Oh, this is so hard. So many choices. So many. That'd be awesome. Because it'd be fun too. You know, any of these people that were like kids in the Goonies, you know, that'd be fun to work with them as they're older now, which, I mean, a lot of them are successful actors now too. People you wouldn't expect, you know, that you're like, oh, it's that guy. What?
This is the amazing thing about Cobra Kai. I don't know if you guys are watching, but every season they put back people from the 80s that people from the Karate Kid films, you know, and those guys are older, but it's amazing to see them. The first time I saw Martin Cove, for example, the John Creasy, I was like, oh my God. And then they keep putting these old actors back in the series, and it's amazing. It's always a surprise.
I love that. It's just incredible. And we were even watching, what were we watching? Weird Science with Anthony Michael Hall's in that, and Robert Downey Jr.'s in it. And I was like,
yeah.
He's like younger. I was like, and it's fun to watch some of these because you're like, hey, that's such and such. Oh my gosh. But I have a 5-year-old or a 6-year-old daughter, and she watches the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids kind of movies. And I was just like, oh my gosh, that's Carrie Russell. What? We're doing this. We're new.
Yeah.
We're kids. Like, it's really cool to see all these people, you know, like as kids. So
last month I watched again a movie from the 80s called Tough Turf. I don't know if you remember that.
Oh, I haven't seen it. No, I'm excited. I'll write it
down. With young James Spader and young Robert Downey Jr. So it's so crazy. Yeah.
That was one of the questions we actually asked our cast before we hired him was, what is your favorite 80s movie? That's like
that's a great question.
So fun to hear everyone's responses, because, like, you know, some people love, oh gosh, there was Top Gun, Spaceballs was Angela's favorite movie, you know, Princess Bride. Oh, there were so many.
Lots of action films, really lots of comedies. Yeah, it's a great time to watch.
Yeah, it was such a fun period, and now we're removed from it, so it's even better. It's really cool.
Yeah. So Lexie, thanks a lot. I don't know if you have a final message from the Brazilian audiences.
Thank you for just coming to this and watching us and letting us talk. And you guys are awesome. And thank you so much for just having me. You guys are amazing. So I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Do it with whatever money you have and do a lot of fun things.
This is important. This is important. Made your own movie. Don't wait. Don't wait. Film.
Don't wait. Do it yourself. Yeah. Learn what you got to learn. And then anything else you can't learn, try to figure out how to do it.
Okay. So thanks a lot, Lexie.
Thank you.
Maybe we will watch Danger Danger Part 2 soon.
Soon. Thank you so
Thanks
much
a lot.
for having us.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys. Have a great day.